What is up, YouTube? It is Waifuju, and today I'm gonna go over how you should be creating your Diamond Dynasty team on day one for MLB The Show 22. A couple of disclaimers before the video starts. MLB The Show 22 is not released yet, so anything I say in this video might be completely off depending on how the game is created and how the game plays. But based off of MLB The Show 21, this is everything that you'll need to have the best possible team with spending the least amount of stuff. So we're going to use MLB The Show 21 as an example. When you open up the game, you're going to click into Diamond Dynasty, and we're just going to start going over into Manage Squad. Now, I made a team over here with all commons. There's just nobody actually on it, just to kind of show that this is what your team's pretty much going to look like when you open up the Show 22. If you get a pre-order, you'll get a bunch of packs depending on which pre-order you got. There'll be some guaranteed golds, some guaranteed diamonds, and if you get any of those, I recommend just throwing all of them onto your team right. So now you have a couple of diamonds and golds on your team, including the pre-order covered diamonds that we're going to be getting, including Ryan Howard and Joe Mauer, which I am very excited to use. If you do get that pack, I 100% recommend getting Joe Mauer, because as you're going to hear later in this video, catcher is one of the most priority positions in this game because there are not too many good ones. A couple of tips based off of years past is that really early in the game cycle, the thing that matters most in a player is obviously their swing. That matters the entire year, but also the power that that card has. Power is just one of the most important things, especially early on when pitchers don't have the best of stats. Power can make up for everything that hitters might lack, especially that first couple of days in the games. One of the absolute best examples of a day one card that you need to keep your eye out for is a card similar to this 88 overall 42 series Joey Gallo. This card can play first, third, left, center, and right field. He plays tremendous defense, but the main beautiful part here is he is a lefty with well over 100 power versus both sides and a fantastic swing. Now, swings aren't something you're going to know who you like and who you don't like, especially if you've never played the game before. That's just going to come with playing with cards, using them, and a feel for every single one you get. Typically, I believe, and many other people believe, that Joey Gallo has a tremendous swing in this game. So despite him having really low vision, really low contact, this card plays well above its attributes in those departments and just hits absolute bombs. This is a card you want to look out for on that. Now, obviously, cards like the 42 series might not be in the game next year. So we're going to have to speculate on the people that we're going to get or the types of cards that we're going to get. Now, we know for sure live series will be in the game. Live series are going to be relatively close to where they ended in MLB The Show 21. So we can kind of go in and speculate based off of how they ended this year, where they'll end up, and kind of how expensive or rare they're going to be right as the game starts. And just as an example, we're going to look at the 42 series from last year. These cards were the ones in the pre-order packs and in Team Affinity 1, which is something that is going to be very, very, very important for you guys to go after. Team Affinity 1 is going to be a free way to get packs, diamonds, XP, and stubs in the game. You can do it right away for completely free, just a little bit of grinding offline. We're going to jump over to the Team Affinity page real quick, go over to the Season 1. If it's anything like it was this year, they'll do it by divisions, so you'll have this reward path where you get points, you go through the rewards, and eventually you'll be able to get these packs, including cards. This one had Santander, Bogarts, Giancarlo, Willie Adames, and Bo Bichette. Any of these cards would be fantastic to have on your squad first day, especially that first week or so. Find out who might be really glitchy if they have a lot of switch hitters like Santander. And these are guys that really can help out your squad. They're free, takes a little bit of grinding, and as you saw, you get a bunch of gold cards on the way here. You get some packs, you get some stubs. This is really the way that you're going to want to grind right away. All it does is take some showdowns, some conquests, and maybe some missions and moments, and you'll be able to get some of these. Now, when it comes to live series cards, everybody would love to have guys like Mike Trout, Fernando Tatis, and Ronald Acuna Jr. as the game starts, but that's not going to be possible because they're likely going to be higher overalls. The higher overall a live series diamond is, the much more rare it'll be in packs, and the much more expensive it'll be in the show shop. So we're going to take a look a little bit towards the lower end of it. We're going to look at these guys that are 85 overall and 84 overall even as golds that we'd be able to get really good value out of and make our team still really work well. The card you want to be on the lookout for if you didn't pick up that Joe Mauer is Salvador Perez. Catcher is the #1 priority in my opinion for a position you need to fill first, because it is the absolute hardest position to get, because there just simply aren't that many good catchers in the game. There's going to be probably about 3 to 5 good ones on the release of the game, and you're going to want to make sure you have one of those 3 or 5. Next up in order of importance for you to fill out on your team is likely going to be center field. After catcher, it's kind of up to you where you want to go. This is just my opinion on what's most important. Center field defense is really, really strong in this game, especially if you have a good fielder that's also a quality hitter. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys to look out for guys like Brian Reynolds. He's going to be a switch hitter, good defense, and can hit well on both sides of the plate. Cedric Mullins is going to be probably a lower diamond, so if you're looking to splurge a little bit and get a diamond, Cedric Mullins will be a good option for you. And then we're also going to look at Kyle Tucker. He's a really interesting one because his season last year was so good that I don't know if he'll be closer to a 90 overall or closer to an 85 overall. But either way, he's a guy you want to look for as well, especially if he's going to be closer to that 85 threshold. While we're on the topics of center fielders, we're also going to look out for Ketel Marte and his live series, or if he gets a different form of himself. Ketel Marte has one of the best swings in the game, another switch hitter, and he can play all the outfield and the middle infield. Having positional versatility is going to be absolutely gigantic for your cards really all year, but particularly in the early game, so you can get as many good players on the field at once despite their position. Now, this is another great example of a card you're going to want to look out for. He plays literally every single position besides catcher and is a switch hitter, great defense, and pretty good hitting stats. And if you know about Nico Goodrum, he can hit. He just absolutely hits the baseball. So guys like this, he's in that Team Affinity pack as well. So you just gotta make sure you're going through and looking at guys that other people are suggesting, and more videos are coming out on as the year gets closer and closer and the reveals start to get juicier. After filling out your catcher and center field spot, it's fully up to you how you want to fill out this team. Here's how I'm likely going to go about it. We're going to go catcher, then center fielder in importance. We're going to go over to shortstop. Then we're going to fill out the rest of our outfield. We're going to go right and left field. Then we're going to go to third base, second base, and then finally to first base. First base is easily going to be the least important position to fill out because there are going to be so many good first basemen pretty much the entire year. So it's going to just be a revolving door, and whoever you feel most comfortable with, you're going to be able to put there. A silver will work. You can go ahead and get that Ryan Howard that comes out. You're going to be okay at first. Now, the last position that we're going to fill out is our pitching staff. The pitching staff is going to be really odd because there's not going to be great, cheap resources to get these guys. So you're going to have to look out for those free packs, those gold packs that come out early, and just hope you get a good pull. But if there are a couple of names to recommend, again, we're going to be looking at live series cards while we're trying to piece together this bullpen. Some arms you're going to want to look at early. Chris Sale, he'll likely be a lower diamond. He's just kind of a hard to hit lefty. He throws pretty hard. He'll probably be on the cheaper end of diamonds, especially early on. Guys that aren't diamonds, you're going to want to look out for anybody that has a sinker or a cutter. So if you want to look at Lance Lynn, Charlie Morton, Logan Webb, Yu Darvish, those guys typically play really well on the opening days. They have the meta pitches, or what has been the meta pitches the last couple of years. If the meta is going to change and everything I'm saying right now is irrelevant, I apologize. But Lance Lynn has a sinker cutter. Charlie Morton has both of those, and he also has a really good splitter and fastball. Charlie Morton's actually one you really want to go after. Another guy without sinker cutter is going to be Noah Syndergaard. He has outlier on his fastball or his sinker. I'm not sure which. We can actually look. He has outlier on his sinker, so he's going to have a hard sinker that if you're not used to hitting fastballs, he's going to be difficult to hit. Other guys with just cutters, so you're going to look at like Nathan Eovaldi. He's typically pretty good the first day of the year. And just look out for those meta pitches, and the important stat you want to look out for is hit per 9. Hit per 9 makes your opponent's PCI as small as possible, and that's the thing that's going to make it harder to hit. So somebody, just for example, like Jacob deGrom, has 109 hits per 9 on his live series card. That is really, really, really good, especially the first day of the game. But he's going to be a really high overall and really expensive. He's not a realistic option right away unless you pull him, but those are things you want to look out for. And the pitching meta doesn't change too much from year to year in terms of the bullpen, especially early on. You're going to want to get Josh Hader. You're going to want to get Aroldis Chapman in your bullpen pretty much right away. Two really, really good lefties. Kendall Graveman's going to be a great option for you as well. He was very good in this year's game. Devin Williams, he has a screwball, so we'll kind of see how the screwball plays out next year. It was really strong, especially early on with Fernando Valenzuela. We'll see how that pitch kind of evolves in this year. Another lefty, Taylor Rogers, he got a sinker. He throws it pretty hard. You want to look out for him. Other guys such as Diego Castilla, Andrew Kittredge, and Blake Trinan are all righties that throw pretty hard with sinkers. Again, you just want to look at sinker cutter, how hard you throw, and those are things that you really look out for in the opening days, especially to get these budget bullpen arms that can just get you some outs, because that's the hardest thing to do with these bullpens really early. If we're looking at even cheaper options, we're going to go ahead to the silvers. Emmanuel Clase is going to be fantastic outlier on the cutter. TJ Antone has just been an absolute beast, especially in BR last year. Andrew Chafin's a good lefty. He got a sinker and a slider. He's a pretty tough out as well. And then we're also going to look at somebody like Brewstar Gratterall and Trevor May. Trevor May is a weird one because he has a really basic pitch mix, but something just about him, he's a little deceptive. Again, these guys are going to be trial and error. You might like a guy that I say is bad, or a guy that I say is good, you might think is bad. So with your bullpen, give them a shot or two, see how they go, especially online and against the computer, and just get a feel for these guys and how comfortable you are with their pitches. Now keep in mind, everything I just said, including importance of positions, might get thrown out the window once we come over to the live series collection. If you don't know what the live series collection is, every year you can collect all the cards in the game, and you're able to get an AL and an NL representative. This year it was David Ortiz and Alfonso Soriano, and when you get them, you'll be able to lock them in and get the big boy of them all. It was Chipper Jones. This card was absolutely insane and probably the best third baseman the entire year, and he was just absolutely phenomenal. This is a card you're going to be working towards from the start of the year. You won't be able to get it right away. It'll cost a lot of stubs. It's going to take some time. Don't feel stressed out about getting them really early, especially if you don't want to spend money on this game. I know I won't. Now, when it comes to the collections, you're going to want to try and find a team that maybe doesn't have a lot of diamonds or even golds, and try and go after them and see if their collection has anything worth of value. A good example of this is this year, to start the season, the Twins didn't have a single diamond, and I believe they only had 1 or 2 gold cards. So to fill out their collection was not very many stubs at all. And when you did it, you were able to get this 89 overall Kirby Puckett, which we never got a better version of. But this 89 overall Kirby Puckett was one of the better outfielders the day the game came out, especially a high power guy with some good defense, like I said, and center field is an important position. So this was a pretty good card to get right away for not that many stubs, and it was a diamond to say that you had a nice diamond out there in center field. Now these collections are going to be really nice because this is likely where we're going to be able to fill out our bullpen. They tend to throw a lot of guys in the bullpen in here, and for good reason. This is where a lot of the early game relievers are going to be. Last year we got this Eric Gagne, Trevor Hoffman, Hunter Strickland, and Archie Bradley all in the same division in the NL West. There was also guys like John Franco and Dennis Eckersley that you were able to get. They were either high to low diamonds, and they're going to be good guys to fill out. They're not going to be end game by any means, but as you continue to get all the cards, they're going to really fill in that bullpen, which is probably the lowest priority thing on day one. And at the end of the day, guys, all it comes down to is feel. If you look at your team and they're all bronzes and you're hitting 500 with all of them on release day, go crazy. And if you feel like you can go in the ranked with that squad, go ahead. I don't recommend running in the ranked right away, especially because this year is a marathon. It is not a race. Get a team you like, enjoy the team you have, and then get out there in the ranked. Hopefully you won't rage that much. And that's the name of the game. Go have some fun in ranked seasons, in the events, in BR. That's all we're trying to do this year, especially day one. That pretty much wraps up everything you're going to need to know going into the first day of this game. Just let me know who you guys are looking forward to the most to using and filling out your squad. And let me know if you liked the video by liking and subscribing. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.